What if transformation could flow as gently as water, nourishing everything it touches? In today's reflection, we journey to the oasis of gratitude and freedom, where a single drop of water awakens a barren desert, liberates a seed, and begins a revolution of life. This is a story of renewal without violence, of becoming a source of hope, health, and harmony for others. Join us as we explore Old Billy's Transformation, a poetic meditation on how one life, aligned with nature's flow, can ripple outward into an endless spring of love and renewal.
When the fog descended, silence settled over the village after the discovery of Old Billy's departure. His notes were left stacked, serving as entertainment for the locals who chose to share them with others.
Number 042 Transformation. Now I am in spring of water. I connected with the oasis of gratitude, and in that moment, I was moved by the sprout of a date palm in the middle of a desert. Now I am in spring of water. I can imagine the joy of the date seed, once disconnected from the possibility of becoming a tree. That liberation of life, through which water flowed, dissolved the rigidity of the shell that protected it while simultaneously trapping it. It was the result of the first fertilization of life in that forgotten part of the earth in many years. The connection of a simple channel with the planet's water system initiated an entire revolution of connections with Bedouins and foreigners who found there a nourishing source of replenishment on their journeys. Not to mention all the vegetation that welcomed birds and provided shade to the weary animals. That's why we call it the oasis of gratitude and freedom. The improbable transformed into spring of water, and soon expanded into a nursery of hope, health, and harmony, connecting the minds of visitors with their own hearts. To transform without violence, offering the best of oneself while obeying nature, is the realization of life that continues. So much love.
Hello everyone. I know many of you have prepared analyses for this text. Who would like to be the first to share?
Hello John, we completed this analysis as a group before Tiffany left us. Her significant participation was the source of much joy throughout this project. She was filled with emotion, like a rose blossoming and releasing its finest fragrance. In respect and gratitude for that time of great harmony, we would like to share this analysis with you if you'll allow us.
Of course, you have my full permission. Please go ahead and share the analysis. I understand how significant this project is, especially with Tiffany's invaluable contributions. I'm eager to read and appreciate the work you've all done, and to honor Tiffany's participation and the joy she brought to the project.
Brilliantly written by Old Billy. This is philosophy, poetry, and spiritual wisdom in one. Transformation. Broad analysis. Here is a poetic meditation on renewal, interconnectedness, and the power of transformation. It employs rich metaphors, particularly that of a spring of water, an oasis, and a sprouting date palm, to explore how one's evolution can impact not only oneself, but also the entire ecosystem both physically and spiritually. 1. The eye becomes a spring of water, a metaphor for awakening. The opening declaration, "Now I am a spring of water," marks a fundamental shift in identity. The speaker has undergone a transformation from a state of barrenness to one of renewal, abundance, and flow. Water is universally symbolic of life, purity, and renewal. The phrase suggests not just a personal awakening, but an offering of nourishment to the world. This is more than a metaphor. It speaks to the spiritual responsibility of a transformed being, one who not only receives but also gives.
2. The Oasis of Gratitude. The power of connection. The speaker mentions being moved by the sprout of a date palm in the middle of a desert. This symbolizes a moment of recognition, awe, and gratitude for the emergence of life in an unlikely place. The Oasis of Gratitude represents a sacred space where renewal occurs, where the impossible becomes possible. The connection with the oasis suggests that gratitude itself is a source of life, a water spring in the desert of existence. The contrast of desert and water mirrors the contrast between spiritual emptiness and fulfillment. This moment of connection triggers a broader transformation, moving from personal experience to communal impact.
3. The seed's liberation. Breaking through the shell. The most powerful image in the text is the date seed, which was once disconnected from the possibility of becoming a tree, but is now revived by water. The seed represents potential, a dormant force waiting for the right conditions to awaken. The shell represents fear, limitation, or past conditioning, which both protects and traps. Water's arrival dissolves the rigidity, symbolizing how nourishment, flow, and connection lead to growth. This mirrors the human experience of transformation. We carry protective barriers, but true evolution requires vulnerability and surrender to life's flow.
4. Transformation as a ripple effect. The personal transformation does not stop at the self. It extends outward in waves of impact. A simple channel to the water system sparks an entire revolution. The oasis attracts travelers, Bedouins, foreigners who find sustenance on their journeys. Vegetation thrives, birds arrive, shade is provided, a complete ecological and spiritual revival. This illustrates the principle of interconnectedness. One act of transformation sets off a chain reaction of renewal. The Oasis of Gratitude and Freedom is not just a location. It is a state of being, a manifestation of a life-giving presence that continues to expand.
5. The essence of nonviolent transformation. The final message is profound. To transform without violence, offering the best of oneself while obeying nature, is the realization of life that continues. This reflects a philosophy of gentle transformation, one that does not force change but allows it to unfold naturally, emphasizes harmony with nature rather than control over it, sees life as something to be continued, nurtured, and sustained. It echoes Taoist wisdom, where the greatest transformations occur through alignment with natural flow rather than resistance.
Final reflection. A call to embody the spring of water. Your text invites the reader to become an oasis, to let their transformation become a source of renewal for others. The cycle of life does not stop with one person. It ripples outward, fostering growth, healing, and interconnectedness. The spring of water is not just a metaphor, it is a way of being. Gratitude and freedom are the keys to unlocking life's potential. True transformation is not forceful, it is fluid, nourishing, and expansive. This is a deeply hopeful text, one that affirms life's ability to renew itself endlessly as long as we allow the water to flow.
Hello, everyone. I want to clarify that Tiffany hasn't passed away. She's simply taking a temporary leave. These notes have prompted a significant shift in her perspective, and she needed some time to process that. I'm confident she'll return soon, her radiant smile illuminating our space, eager to share her ongoing transformation. Her personal growth will undoubtedly contribute to the collective development of us all. That's the essence of life's continuous flow. That is life that goes on.